To your point about China, there's a phrase that's gone around Washington for several years now called the Davidson window. And the Davidson window, coined because Admiral Philip Davidson mentioned this during testimony to Congress several years ago, is the belief that's pretty widely shared by American intelligence and military officials that Chinese President Xi Jinping has given his military a 2027 deadline to be prepared to execute an invasion of Taiwan. That 2027 deadline comes right before the end of President Trump's term in office. He'll be leaving office in 2029. It is absolutely vital that we maximize our capabilities and the capabilities of our allies before 2027 to be able to deter and, if necessary, stop a Chinese invasion of Taiwan. If China can take Taiwan and break out of that first island chain, it will be a menace to the world. The United States of America needs to rebuild its military, and I believe that we will, under President Trump, to be prepared to walk through the world using peace through strength, speaking softly and carrying a big stick. Although we know President Trump doesn't always speak softly, deterrence is key. The strategy of denial needs to be implemented. China cannot be allowed to menace the world, and they may start by trying to take Taiwan in just a few years. Time's running out.
Interesting. Mr. Chileni, how chastened do you think is China with the emergence of Trump?
First, Taiwan's autonomous status is critical, not just for US security, but also for Indian security. If China were to absorb Taiwan, its focus then will turn to the areas of India that it covets. So it's very important for India to do what it can to underpin Taiwan's autonomous status. One big blunder that Biden has made is that instead of driving a wedge between China and Russia, these are two natural competitors, not natural allies, his policy helped turn China and Russia into close strategic partners. And to make matters worse for US interests, Biden compounded that blunder by also impelling India to seek a thaw with China as a hedge against American unpredictability. China has its own reasons to seek a thaw with India, including a sputtering economy, an international pushback against Xi Jinping's ambitions, the fact that China is now facing a deepening demographic crisis, and Xi Jinping is in a hurry to achieve what he calls the Chinese dream. And he obviously looks at India as one key player, and to create more room for China to achieve the so-called Chinese dream, he has sought to some extent to mend fences with India. As I said, to some extent, because they have not really turned a new leaf. They still are pretty hostile toward India, and we should not delude ourselves that a new chapter is opening in India-China relations. It's not.
Very quickly, I have to ask you this, Mr. Chileni, and let me also bring in Mr. Zdan. Many people are talking about Kash Patel as somebody who could perhaps take over as the boss of the CIA. How realistic is that, Mr. Zdan?
It's certainly possible. I've heard the same report that you're bringing up. His name was floated. He worked in the Defense Department in the first Trump administration. President Trump obviously trusts him. Kash Patel has worked closely with the former president when he was not in office, stood by his side all throughout the 4 years in between the first term and now this second term. Definitely a realistic prospect, someone who knows the defense establishment, but there are certainly no shortage of individuals who would like very much to have that position in the CIA. I think the President Trump will make sure to put somebody at the CIA and the other intelligence agencies that will execute very firm oversight to make sure that these intelligence agencies don't overstep their bounds in any way.
Okay, controlling the deep state is very important for